Good afternoon and welcome to week 3 of EDU 586. I hope you all had an awesome weekend. I know in some parts of the state it's really starting to feel like summer, and I am getting pretty excited, as I'm probably like most of you, looking forward to a little break. And with that, let's jump right into this week. So we have a little busy week this week, a lot of information, but all manageable. So my advice is take it in chunks, read through this week several times, because there's many great resources that are going to help you with this week's assignment as well as the discussion boards. So our topics this week are going beyond the text and looking at the ISTE, Technology Skills and Standards. That's the International Society for Technology Education, and we'll jump into that here in just 1 second. So I want you to review, make sure you look at the learning outcomes. Really looking at one of the focuses for this week is using technology in lessons, and that's really, we are really going to try to take technology to a new level this week, not just for basics, but to try to enhance the lessons that we are teaching students. Trying to scroll down here. Here we go. As you scroll down, you have some readings and videos, one of which is looking at the ISTE standards. And as you look at the ISTE standards, I want you to pay special attention here, that as you look at them, there are standards for students, standards for educators, and then standards for educational leaders, as well as standards for coaches, and then competencies for educators. Primarily this week, we're going to look at 2. We're going to look at the students, and we're going to look at the educators. One of the things I really like about students is that there is a section specifically dedicated to digital citizenship. That is something that has come out a lot in terms of as technology has grown, especially last year with the pandemic. Is really making sure that our kids are safe online, so that when they are engaging in a lesson, that they are, doing the right things and doing things that are appropriate. And then, one of the things I always advise is making sure that we're teaching our students digital citizenship and just not assuming that they know about it. But there are quite a few standards here, such as being a creative communicator, a computational thinker, innovative designer, etc., etc., etc. So I encourage you to go through those. So once you get done looking at the ISTE standards, there are then going to be some resources here that are going to help you with this week's assignment. I gave you some tools here with regards to how to make a rubric, and then you're going to look at something called the SAMR model. So think of this as blooms for technology. So the SAMR model stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. So if you look at it, it really starts at the top, which is the substitution, and it works its way down to the redefinition. And while I'm not going to say there's, there isn't really one that you're really aiming for, but at the end of the day, we do want to see how technology does transform the lesson, because there are benefits to enhancing the lesson. However, ultimately, we want to get to where we are transforming it, allowing for the creation of new tasks that, we weren't even able to do before. So I would encourage you to look at this website here about the SAMR model. It goes into great details about why it was developed, and then, kind of why use it, and then what is a technology tool. So again, please make sure that you're going through it, because you're going to do a couple things with that this week. One, you're going to look at the discussion board. So you're going to reflect on a lesson that you're going to reflect on a tool that you've used either in this course or the last year or something you've tried before. And you're going to identify, along the lines of where are the ISTE standards, as well as where does it fall along the SAMR model. And then, if it landed on kind of the very basic, how would you then take that to the next level? And then the next one, you're going to watch the TEDx by Diana Laufenberg, How to Learn from Mistakes, kind of a theme last week, but we're going to continue that. And then you're going to answer, do you agree or not, about her ideas, and then explain your beliefs on learning from mistakes, and then provide an example. Okay, so remember, that follows the Thursday, Sunday sequencing for posting your initial post and then posting to your peers. And then you have an assignment that's due this week. And we're going to go through that assignment here. And this is a design project. And so you're going to incorporate a number of things here. So first and foremost, understand that there are 3 things that are going to be due this week. 1 are the project guidelines and a lesson plan. 2, an assessment rubric. If you go back to the week 3, remember I shared with you some of those rubric tools. And then the third thing you're going to do is a sample student project. So let's start with the lesson plan. So to help you with this assignment, there is a sample assignment here, as well as if you go back here, there is a video tutorial, which I highly encourage you to look at the sample assignment and the video tutorial prior to getting started. So if you utilize the backwards design, which is the understanding by design, you will land in a very, very, very good place. So if you take a look at the sample assignment uses the exact lesson plan that I'm going to highly encourage you to use. Because if you do that, you're going to meet all the steps that you need to do, which is looking at the content standards, understanding the goals, the essential questions, the materials, the objectives, the assessment evidence, which is your rubric. You're going to line up your standards. You're going to number like kind of where the standards are within your lesson. So then again, you will meet all those requirements. So once you've designed your lesson, you're going to create the assessment rubric, which is to grade how would you as a teacher grade the student work. So just as we have a rubric, how would you create a rubric so that your students are understanding exactly what they need to do prior to getting started. And then the last thing you're going to do is that you are going to either, 1, if you've already taught this lesson before and you have sample student work, you're going to submit that sample student work with your project. So you do need to get permission. My one caveat is if there is no name on it and there's no identifiable information, then you do not need to get permission. If you've never taught this lesson before and you actually don't have student work, then you're going to need to create your own sample student project. So you would do the project as if you were the student, and then you would then submit it. Okay, so 2 options here. 1, submit an actual student assignment, or 2, create a sample student assignment and then submit it. So again, a lot of great resources here. A couple things I'll be looking for. Again, integration of online resources for students researching and gathering information. Looking at the standards, and then again utilizing that backwards design. And then, you do have the rubric here, which is going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get full credit for this assignment. And the last thing I'm going to close out with is our Christian message for this week, which really talks about, from Colossians and Daniel. It talks about giving that extra effort, and it talks about mediocrity, and it talks about, mediocrity is where you're just giving minimal effort and you're kind of going through the motions. And sometimes we fall into this trap where we become comfortable, or we become complacent, or we get to the end of the year and we're just trying to get through. And I've been there, and I'll be quite honest. I've been there in the last couple of weeks. This has been a very, very long year, and I'm extremely tired, probably like the vast majority of you. But we owe it to our students and we owe it to ourselves to give that little extra effort, so that we are exceeding expectations. And every day I come to work, I give myself a little pep talk, and I really pride myself on, giving it everything I can for my team. Sorry about that. There's a phone in the background. I pride myself on giving everything I can for my team, because again, my job is to serve my team so that I can make them better. And if I'm giving every ounce of energy, and if I'm giving everything I can each and every day, then I'm going to go above and beyond that call of duty. And I would encourage you to do the same with your students. I often hear, sometimes teachers will tell their students, I'm having a bad day. That's one thing that, as a former site principal, that's something I would probably have a conversation about, because that student showed up that day and expecting 100% effort. So whatever you can to give that 100% effort each and every day to your student, please do so, because they will benefit from that and they will appreciate it. And I will guarantee you they will remember you for the rest of their lifetime. So thank you again. I've been thoroughly impressed with the work that you've turned in, thoroughly impressed with the discussion board thus far. Keep on going, and thank you.